Hi, my name's Sue Young, and for the Teach One assignment, I'm going to be assessing business value of information technology. Today, we are going to talk about VISTA, the VISTA program, and what EHR is, and what correlation is, and how to find it. And we're also going to talk about scatter plots, what they are, how to make one through Excel, how to make a trend line, which is putting the correlation and scatter plot together. And then we're going to talk about what we actually found out from assessing business value of information technology and come to a conclusion. So to assess business value of information technology, we're talking about the relationship between investment and productivity regarding information technology. Information technology is the study or use of systems to manage information, and so basically we're going to talk about how productivity leads to investment, or investment leads to productivity, and we're going to talk about the value of it. So EHR is an electronic health record, and it's a stored information about a patient's healthcare. Basically, every time a patient ever encounters healthcare, that's going to be put into an electronic health record. An example of an electronic health record, which we will learn during this lecture, or have learned during this lecture, is VISTA, which stands for Veterans Health Information Systems and Technology Architecture System. That's just another form of an EHR, an electronic health record used in healthcare facilities. So to assess the business value, we're going to use correlation. Correlation is basically just that relationship between two variables. And so if you wanted to do it handwritten out, this long, funky formula would be it. And it's R stands for correlation. The N within the formula stands for the number of paired information you have. So basically X comma Y. And X is going to be one of the variables. It's your independent variable. And then that means the variable that you get to manipulate, that you get to control, while Y, your dependent variable, is the variable that results because of X. It is the outcome of X. So, yeah, and then the Greek letter there, which is sigma, is basically the sum of all, but that's really difficult to do by hand. I tried, it's not fun. So once you go into Excel, you can just put in equals coral for correlation, and then you put in the arrangement, and you put open parentheses C2, C8, comma, B2, B8, close parentheses. Basically what the first part of before the comma, that is your X variable, and then your Y variable comes after the comma. You can select the cells directly from Excel, put it in, or you can type it in, whichever is easier for you. So here I'm showing you how. I put in the numbers that we were given, and then from the side I put in budget, number, record, and cost index, and all that stuff. And then I went in, and you can see in that equation there, the highlighted cell has the equation I put in. So when we move over to the cost index and budget, you're just going to change the cells. You're going to change the cells to D2, D8, comma, B2, B8, and then so on for the cost index and number of records. Under that stuff, ignore that for now. We'll talk about that later. Back to this. The number that you get from here, correlation is basically a number between positive 1 and negative 1. The closer it is to 0, the less closely related they are. But the closer they are to 1, positive 1, or negative 1, the stronger the relationship. So budget and cost index, you can see, is 0.89, which is basically telling you that it has a strong positive correlation. They're closely related to each other, so that when one number goes up, the other one goes up as well. So to visually see this, we're going to make a scatter plot, which really just displays our information that we get without connecting the two. So you just put it on a plot on two axes, and then it shows the correlation between two variables. So to do this in Excel, you're going to insert scatter plot, and it's going to show up with some funky looking graphic. That's not what you want. So you're going to hit chart filters, and you're going to select data and edit it, and then that's where you're going to put in your independent variable and your dependent variable, and select those from the cells in the Excel. So here I'll show you how. So once you insert it, this is what it's going to look like, but it's not going to look like this at first. So what's circled over there, that's your add filter thing, and then once you click on that, you're going to see this. And you can click on edit right there so that you can edit your independent and dependent variables. And so I just changed the series name, which is the title of my chart, and then I went in and I selected my x values, my independent, and you can either type that in or select it directly, highlight it from the Excel. Basically, it's just going to be what sheet it's located on, and then which cell number to which cell number. And do the same for your dependent variable, your y value. And over there, if you need extra help, you can see the numbers I selected, or the beginning numbers I selected. So then it's going to look like this, and that's what, it doesn't show you a trend, or it doesn't put the correlation and scatter plot together. So in order to do that, you're going to want to add the trend line, which is the correlation. So once you hit that, chart elements, you can see trend line, and then it'll put in the line for you, the 0.89 line, which shows the strong positive correlation between the two. And notice I also put in axis titles, so it made it more clear. Like the bottom over there says VHA cost per patient index, so it's just easier to read. So here, in order to find these numbers out, so I'll explain first. What's highlighted in red is budget, records, and cost index, and then cost index, budgets, and then EHR. So what the first one means is when you have more money, you'll buy more computers, and therefore you'll have more EHR records, which leads to higher productivity and cost-saving efficiency. And the closer the number this is to 0, the closer your assumptions of that model have been met. So we'll talk about that later. So the bottom one, which is cost index, budget, EHR, is there's more, it's when we have more productivity, we have more money to spend. And when we have more records, because we have more computers that we spend the money on. So because the numbers over here on the side were figured out from this formula up here, they're both highlighted. It's equals F2 times G3 minus G2. And basically you're just taking these three numbers and you're putting them in, and that's going to show you how to do your final conclusion to figure this out. So the closer it is to 0, the more evidence you have that that's the one, that's which came first. So there's more evidence that productivity led to budget increases, eventually leading to more electronic health records, because 0.12 is closer to 0 than negative 0.46. So basically, that's what you assessed, and that's the value of it, that productivity led to budget increases, leading to more electronic health records, and that's how it went. Thank you.